Done.
Okay. And I believe that Tracy, she's going to put a link to this slide deck in the chat so that you have it. As you see, as we go through, there are some information you may want to pull from the slides. So what I want to talk, so first of all, thank you all for hopping on this afternoon. This information has been shared out already to superintendents, to principals, to curriculum contacts, as well as the counselors through Tracy Rains. So today is the opportunity to kind of talk about it a little bit more in depth, because I know through an email, you certainly don't get sometimes the gist of what it is we're sharing without some context behind it. So this is an opportunity to kind of really talk through it some more and hopefully provide you a better understanding of what the purpose of this program is for. So as you can see on the screen, this is a Penn State program. It is through their outreach division, and it's called the Readiness Institute at Penn State. We have formed a partnership with them to bring this program to Central PA. It has been in Allegheny County for the past 3 years, and they wanted to Penn State, their goal and mission is to expand it across the state. We had a few connections with the folks who run the Readiness Institute in Allegheny County and said that IU8 would be a great fit. And then eventually, I think they want to spread the program to the eastern part of the state. But right now, it's in the western part in Allegheny County, and then our 4 counties here in IU8. So this is just an overview, and there's a lot of word. I know this is kind of wordy, but I wanted to keep it like this in case, again, you wanted to pull any information as you share out to your junior class, as well as the families that connect with them. So the Readiness Institute, again, it's a Penn State outreach initiative that collaborates with education, industry, and community partners to really create this unique learning experience for the learners that are involved. They strongly believe that community and future readiness is achieved when learners, regardless, again, of, it says their zip code, race, ethnicity, gender, identity, sexual orientation, as well as ability level, are able to kind of develop those skills and attitudes that really, truly directly influence their personal, professional, and public outlook in life. So what they've done is they've kind of, and I'll talk about the change in the name because you'll see it's the Penn State Summer Discovery. So it's a 6-week experience for rising high school seniors. So it's your current juniors. And again, I mentioned about how it's in Allegheny County, but also in our 4 counties, that truly aims to prepare every learner to become, and this is important, this is kind of like what they hang their hat on, community and future ready. The participants, they establish relationships with one another. Again, we piloted this last summer, and I'll talk more about that. In terms of, really real world problems, they reflect, they share, and they also plan a personalized roadmap as they interact with their community. And after the program, once the program is over, they become part of the Penn State Alumni Network and the Readiness Institute. So they have further support, including mentorship, learning experiences and workshops, connections with their peers, as well as networking. I know they all brought these kids together a couple times to work through the FAFSA and helping them to apply to college. So they're providing that additional layer of support if they need it and if they want to take advantage of that. I put a link to the website, so it takes you directly to all of the information, and it kind of goes into more depth. Here's the application, which is now available. It's also at the end of this site. But again, it talks about it is a paid experience, so students do get paid for this 6-week experience. And again, it kind of goes into, designing and leading a purposeful life. And this is really the mission and vision behind the program. And it's really, so the participants gain an improved sense of themselves and to be able to answer the questions that you see there. Who am I? Who do I want to become? How do I get there? How will I continue to learn? And then this last piece, how will I give back to my community? And in order to do that, they have to be familiar with what's in their community. And that's all part of this summer discovery. Again, real life learner centered, explore future pathways, really develop that positive financial management habits. We visit banks, all sorts of things. These soft skills, this is crucial in terms of collaboration and communication. When I share some of the feedback from the students, they continually had said through surveys that they felt more confident in themselves. They felt like they were better able to communicate with one another, as well as, adults that they interacted with. So just those soft skills really come to the forefront through this experience. Again, I talked about, there's learner support and an alumni network. Just some important dates for this year, the application, which we'll get to, it's already open, when it closes, the selection process, when registration actually opens for the ones that are accepted. So, we'll get hopefully, enough applicants that will select those applicants. And then from there, they actually have to formally register. They actually do this all through Penn State. They get paid through Penn State. They get a computer to use for the summer, which is through Penn State. None of that is IU8 driven. Really, IU8's role in this is to help plan and execute the program within our area. And again, those are just support. And here are some program details: when it starts, where, and I'll kind of talk through that. And then again, the application, and this is where students would go to apply. Last year, we did not have the students go through the application process because it was a pilot. We worked with the districts and said, okay, districts, here's the information. Who would you recommend for this program? And the districts kind of handled that and then supplied us with the names. And then we went from there. This year, it's completely, students can apply directly themselves. So going back to the PowerPoint here. Again, so that's an overview. Pull information from that as you wish, as well as the link to the direct website. So just a little bit about our pilot. Again, last summer, we ran this for the first time. Those were the dates that it ran. We had 19 learners that participated. We could have taken up to 24. We had 19. We formed two cohorts. We formed a cohort in Bedford, Blair County, and we formed a cohort in Cambria and Somerset County. Because of logistics and the distance, we had to separate it in two. So we had both cohorts running at the same time. We visited around 30 different locations within the 6-week period of time. Again, I mentioned that the learners get paid. So they get a $2,000 stipend to participate in this in 6 weeks. So, thinking about, I know some of them, with summer jobs and things like that, this is a pretty good opportunity to make some money through this experience. We had 4 facilitators and 1 offsite coordinator. So the facilitators were, again, they were hired, they were district employees. However, they became Penn State employees for the summer. I'll talk more about them. And it's a combination of independent and collaborative work experiences. Overall, again, it's that future and community ready. And then they become part of this Penn State alumni network. So these were our cohorts last year in the districts that participated or at least had students represented. So we had 9 students in the Bedford-Blair cohort. We had Altoona, 2 students from Bellwood, Bishop Guilfoyle, 2 from Spring Cove, 2 from Hollidaysburg, 1 from Tyrone, and 1 from Everett. We had 9 students in the Cambria Somerset cohort, and you can see the districts there who had students that participated. So each week had a theme, and we used the theme to drive the locations in the community that we visited. So as you can see, the themes that are highlighted there in the pinkish purple, and then next to that are the locations that we visited when we were off-site a day. So we went to WTAJ, Forever radio station, both in Blair County and Cambria County, as well as the Tribune Democrat. Social emotional learning, we went into the health field, went to Bedford Behavioral Health. Somerset Hospital was amazing. Entrepreneurship, went to Sheets Distribution Center. That was probably one of the students' favorites out of all of them. We went to Invention Land, Del Grosso's, spent a day at Del Grosso's, got tours of the plant and behind the scenes things, and they got to spend some time at the park. Financial literacy was a hit. Altoona First Savings Bank, Cades Margolis, Somerset Trust, Boyer Financial, all fantastic. Communication and soft skills, we got to go to the 911 center, the Bedford County Courthouse. That was probably another one of their favorite, the courthouse. They actually got to sit in on some live court cases that were taking place. I found that interesting. Oh, my favorite was probably the financial literacy. I learned a lot that day. I missed some of that in school. Future career pathways, Culp Dairy, that was another highlight of theirs. Amazing corporation there, family owned dairy farm, which they are doing amazing things there. REI Distribution Center, the airport. We also had a chance to visit some campuses, UPJ, Penn State, Altoona, and Maine campuses. So it was a very, very busy 6 weeks. We were all over the place. We transported, transportation was provided. I'll get into that a little bit more. But this was, in terms of becoming community ready, this is how it happened, to take these kids into these atmospheres and to interact with the employees. And even as we would go through, so many of the staff members would say, boy, I wish I had this when I was in school. We heard that a lot. So we also had Community Service Day. The Bedford Blair group went to St. Vincent de Paul and Altoona, as well as Blair Senior Services. And then our other cohort went to the Greater Johnstown Youth League and the mountain bike trails with Mike Cook. So different experiences, but both cohorts tremendously enjoyed the Community Service Day. Specifically the Blair Senior Services in Altoona. The kids actually did not want to leave that place. They connected with the elderly adult population. They worked with them helped them with their cell phones, played games with them, and at the end of the day, realized that community, that the impact of their presence far exceeded anything they really thought it would. So very powerful. So this was kind of what it's a Monday through Thursday. So 6 weeks, Monday through Thursday. And this is kind of what it looks like. We have a mixture of on-site days and off-site visitations, as well as, group trips and community service and a virtual day. So our on-site location, when they come on site, we utilized 2 locations last year. Our IU8 Duncansville office was our on-site location for the Bedford Blair cohort, and we utilized Richland Area High School for our on-site location for the Cambria and Somerset. Students are responsible to get themselves to those on-site locations. But then from there, when we would go off-site, on the off-site day, we transported via buses. But students are required to get themselves there, whether they drive themselves, whether, a family member drives them, however we had one student from Johnstown who took the bus, to the local station right there at Penn Highlands Community College and then walked over to Richland High School. So we utilize, transportation is probably a little trickier for us than it is in Allegheny County because we're covering 4 counties and we have kids coming from, in Somerset County, driving into Johnstown, Bedford County, driving into, Blair County. So we worked through that for the most part. We do have some travel stipends that could be available in addition to the $2,000 stipend to help, students who may have longer drives or there's financial situations that, that they, that extra travel stipend is needed to support that. So that's kind of on a as needed basis. And again, there's a virtual day that's, they are on their home. They're just, or wherever else that they are participating from. It is a 1-day virtual. And then again, another day, if it's a 4-day week, then we're out in the community doing community service or doing some group trips, such as going to Penn State campuses, UPJ, those types of things. So just some things about what did the learners have to say? So we really took the feedback, especially from our pilot year, very, very seriously, because the first time we were doing it, you learn a lot. And so we took this survey information and really helping to build what summer 2024 is going to look like. And I mentioned, it says, here's a question. What is one thing that you have made the most progress on through the Readiness Institute? And you can see that time after time, we kept hearing communication skills, public speaking, because they were constantly having to get up and talk to, introduce themselves when we would go out into the community. That, they would always have to introduce themselves, talk to the adults. And you could just see from the beginning of the summer to the very end how much more confident they became. Again, more confidence in self, networking, listening to others, and collaboration. What have you learned about how teens are capable of changing their communities? Through service and basic kindness, positive interaction is truly life-changing. Just by offering help and learning about your community, you can better your own community. So these are direct quotes, from these students. And you can hear it says, we proved that at our community service day. So they really took it seriously. What are 3 things you liked about it? They like that they're not inside every day. They're able to get to see different things. They like the day of service because it's something they wouldn't have done otherwise. And they said they enjoyed that there was such a variety of careers shown. They liked the people that they met, the connections that they made, and hands-on experience, seeing different fields and meeting new people. So some themes throughout that, but overall, that's kind of what we gathered from the students. What did the parents have to say? So we did survey the parents as well. And it says, what lasting impacts do you believe the Readiness Summer Institute will have on your learner? Self-confidence within the realm of public speaking. He felt like he was able to develop a good network of individuals. Here's one. Because of her participation, said Emily is considering a major in human development and family studies instead of early childhood education. So here's one student who thought she knew what path she wanted to go down, but because of some different exposure, she decided to potentially change her path. And, just experiencing different things, having a clearer picture of what she might want to do in the future. So some good quotes from parents. And then finally, our facilitators, like I said, facilitators that we had, one was a teacher in Somerset School District. One was a teacher in Cambria or Central Cambria. One was a teacher in Altoona, and one was a teacher in Tyrone. And the other offsite facilitator came from Conemaugh Township. But their statements were powerful. And I tried to highlight kind of what stuck out to us the most. But again, what lasting impacts do you think the program had? They saw so much growth in the 6 weeks, leaving more confident, aware of what possibilities exist, and what imprint they can potentially leave on their community to make it better. Another said they believe that the group in particular established acceptance among one another, earned friendships. It says they'll remember these 6 weeks forever. And one teacher said it was the greatest job I ever had. And we know that 2 of them, 3 of the 5 want to come back. The other 2 just kind of actually one left education altogether, and another one is expecting their 3rd or 4th child. So it just wasn't going to work out. But just that they want to come back and do this program again, I think just speaks volumes. So what I'm going to do is just pause real quick before I show you this highlight reel. Does anybody have any questions at this point? And we can also, save it to the end as well, because I can kind of talk about what's coming next. But I kind of want to just allow you to kind of put some, have a visual of what I just talked about. So we put together a little highlight reel. It's only like a 2 minutes. So I'm going to show that. I get tears in my eyes every time I watch that. I don't, it was just so powerful, so much. I just, anyway. So you got to see a little bit there. And some of the pictures, we actually went to Pittsburgh 2 different times and met up with the cohort there. So that was neat to take them to the city. So what's next? We're continuing our partnership. You know, Penn State was very happy with how the program ran in our area. So they're willing to continue their partnership with us. We have our 2024 date set, which is June 24th to August 1st. Again, it's a Monday through Thursday, with the exception of 4th of July week. There wouldn't be anything on the actual day of 4th of July. New name is now called the Readiness Institute Summer Discovery. Just because that's truly what it is. It's a 6 weeks, discovering so many different things. It's not a camp. We don't want it to be like they're going to, it's school, because we want to go to summer school potentially. So it's a discovery. We're gonna have 2 cohorts again: Bedford, Blair, Cambria, Somerset. We're sticking to 24 learners. I know on the slideshow there it said potentially 30. But because of some funding, we're going to keep it still at 24, which means we can take 12 in each cohort. If it works out that, we only have so many that, I think we could do 13, in one, and 11 in another, depending on applicants. But all in all, our goal is to have 12 students in each cohort. We haven't really selected our on-site locations yet. Most likely, it may be our Duncansville location for the one. Our Cambria kind of location, we haven't decided quite yet. But it will probably be in the Johnstown area. And again, these are your current juniors that we are, looking to get this information out to. The application is open now and will be open until March 31st. And again, there's a link to what I already showed you. And there's also a link to a flyer here, which we did share out through email. So in this kind of talk, so, just a brief, this is just more for marketing purposes, doesn't have a lot of detail on it. The website probably has the most information on it. So that's kind of where we're at. We need your help to spread the word to students and their families. Again, we've pushed this out via email. If you would want any of us to talk to your junior class, we can do that. I know time is sort of ticking, and the logistics of making that happen may not work out. So we're kind of relying on all of you to help with this. So that's I know we have a few applicants that have already come in, I think like 5, when we had a meeting with Penn State yesterday. So we have a few, we definitely need to see that increase. But yeah, I'm just going to pause there. If anybody has any comments, especially those of you that are on here that had students participate last year, utilizing them to spread the word would be awesome. Any thoughts at this point? Anything you need from us to help in that marketing effort?
Janelle, quick question. This is PJ from Rockwood.
Yeah.
I know last year the districts, like my administration, we sat down, kind of looked over kids with some criteria that we were given. Are you looking then at schools just like opening it up to all juniors and whoever's interested, or is there still kind of certain criteria you are looking for?
No, this is really open. This is really and allowing us to then, go through that process based upon the questions and the demographic, everything that's in the application process. We'll make that selection after we have, after the deadline. But yeah, open this up to all juniors.
Okay, great. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Janelle. Hi, this is Amy Spangler from Wimber. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Oh, good. Hey, just a quick question. Is there any obligation for this year's session? Do they have to stay over anywhere for length of time? Just because I know we have kids that traveling and they have travel, sports teams. And so it's taking up a lot of their weekend span. So do you know anything about what that looks like?
Yeah, there's no overnight. There was a few trips, like when we went to Pittsburgh, when we went to Penn State main campus that day, we got back a little bit later. like 5 at the latest. But for the most part, it's a 9 o'clock is the start, and they're usually done by 3:30. It's a 9 to 3:30, Monday through Thursday. Now the virtual day is a lot more flexible. They're not online all day. They have to do some independent reflection activities and things, and then they do get on as a cohort in the afternoon for a little bit, but it's not a full day. But we definitely ran into a lot of that last year with other commitments that these students have with sports and jobs and you name it. A commitment is important to this because they are getting paid. So it's, we often had to remind them that, this is technically sort of like a job, but not, teaching them the responsibility of a commitment but we also understand that, there are some vacations, and we were flexible for the most part as much as we could be. I don't know that there's probably a couple of them that had 100% attendance rate, but for the most part, that wasn't across the board. And we want to work on that a little bit more this year to make that a little bit better. But again, we understand things come up. So, but if a student's going to miss, 2 weeks out of the 6-week program, then that's a little bit beyond what we probably would accept. But a day, a couple days, we can work with that.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep. So, I mean, again, share this out with your families. And if any of you have, your own children that are mine was a junior last year, and I tried so hard to get her to apply, or to at least, see if she could have been one of the selected candidates. But she had another job again that she didn't want to interfere with, but it's a great opportunity, really is. And we also are looking for facilitators. So I said, 3 of our 5 have intent to come back, but, we're going to be looking to hire probably, at least 2 more. So please share. And I know that was sent out in an email, the link to the instructor application site. So if you know of any staff or any of you that may be interested in work, it's a $5,000 stipend for the 6 weeks. The week before we get together face-to-face for some training, but it's again, the facilitators highly enjoyed their experience. This is something just very different than what they've been used to. So
I'm going to go ahead and stop recording then.